Welcome to The Vault with Financielle. This is a safe space where we talk all things life and money and no topics are off limits. Hello.
Vault Day.
Howdy.
Vault Day. Do you know, we've not talked about this on here yet, but how are you finding having two vaults? Like the Vault Unlocked is now our project that we finally did.
It feels like there's a podcast coming out every single day.
There is.
I wake up and it's like Apple Podcasts, The Vault Unlocked.
The other day I was like, another one? What day is it? And Neil was like, Monday. I was like, shit. And then Thursday came around very quickly.
Yeah,
and another one
around so fast.
Is that just showing you how quick time flies, by the way? Or
like
it's
Gremlins.
stressful?
Boom, boom.
Yeah. But listen, now I'm waiting for the feedback to be like, there's too many. Can you slow down? I've got a backlog. But
I've now got 10 hours to listen to.
But I did actually also, if people have a little look on YouTube, we did, and we all do little bits and bobs of this, but did some behind the scenes footage of us filming that one, filming the one when we come here, obviously. And we talk about actually what that journey was. And I mentioned how I'm annoyed we didn't try it earlier, but we got a million different things. And we've got Calvin here. Calvin can attest to this. The quality of the production of this one meant we were just really reluctant to do any more because it's a podcast primarily. We want it to like sound right. We want you to, but we didn't want to come here and film these ad hoc ones because it's a bit more intimate. It's on like my couch at home. It's just me. It's a deep dive into some topics and it's not as formal. And then I was trying to get everyone on it and you were like, no, it needs to be a deep dive. Yeah. Otherwise we're just replicating the vault. But we're getting lots of requests for different topics.
Yeah, I think we might do a couple of guest ones maybe. We've got some people in mind that we think would just add so much value for you to sit down and chat with them about their money journey. Yeah. And I think they could be really juicy. Like I think people would love those. And not
the stuff that we talk about behind closed doors that doesn't get shared. And
there's a few people that I'm like, if people could hear their story and what they've got to say, and
that's cool.
That could be a thing. Let us know. What do you want?
But it's like I said, there weren't tears, but I was close to it, trying to work out how to get the quality right, and then even like I've had it where we film it in the kitchen, and then there was just this day in the winter where it was either it's dark, so then you get a delayed and you can't film it, and then it was like so much light that I had to move to a different room, and but if you just crack on and do what people are asking for, and then suddenly like we've now got 2 podcasts a week.
I know.
So
nice.
But yeah,
a lot of editing for Lydia. She's thrilled.
Busy bee. Okay, I've got a good controversial opinion today. And it is actually controversial. Sometimes I don't
tease it.
Controversial for us.
Okay.
Your 20s are not for building wealth. Your 30s are.
I think I found this one, didn't I, and sent it to you. It was like a thread. Was it like a Reddit thread?
Reddit thread.
And I was like, look at this thread. People are going in on
it
this
is wrong.
person.
Yeah, it's not just controversial, it's wrong.
Yeah, people are like, don't worry about it in your 20s.
Yeah, worry about it later.
Yeah, you don't need to worry about that now. Like, live your life. But then we get so many people, mothers actually, of late teens, early 20s, where they're sending them our podcast and they're sending them the playbook and they're buying them the app and they're like, I do not want my children to make the same mistakes that I did. And all of these mistakes were made in my late teens, early 20s, where I could or should have had some sort of basic financial education. I didn't, and I'm only just paying off a credit card in my 40s that I've had since I was 18. I do not want them to have the same thing. So we're not saying you can't have fun in your 20s, absolutely. And there is much less responsibility in your early 20s where you don't have to be worrying about childcare and I don't even know.
We live at home longer, or you can like room sharing. But like, there's 3 ways that you build wealth. Not having consumer debt because you're not sending money to all the banks, you're sending money to you. So not having consumer debt, buying a home and getting on the property ladder if you can, and because you're growing capital there, and then investing. And so those are the 3 ways you build wealth. So you can do that in your 30s, and lots of people join us, find us, and start that then. In fact, some start it later, so you can do it. The easiest bloody thing to do though is do it in your 20s because you need less money to do it. So just dive, like this is the compound, like if you Google investment compound calculator, not if you're driving or running, but if you are saving this for later or if you sat somewhere, just have a little look on your computer and your phone now, investment compound calculator. And I want you to look at the impact of investing £100 a month across 40 years, let's say from 20 to 60. Let's say it grows 5% it grows between 10 and 3. So let's say it grows 5% year on year. And tell me the figure that you come out at and then do it across 30 years. So we've done 40 years versus 30. 30 is still a long time.
Yeah.
And I promise you'll still have a lovely amount of money for the 31. But the 21 for £100 a month, which I believe most people could find and still go out and have a Nando's and do nice holidays and stuff. And even half that at 50. In fact, you could probably try the 50. And I think the 50 would beat the 100. I think 50 a month at age 20 will beat
The
100 a month at age 30.
30.
Because it's the compact, it's the growth, it's not the contribution. And so I want you to live your life, but don't put, what Holly says is so true actually. Not only do you miss out the opportunity cost of this amazing investment and compound growth, you go backwards, you add debt, you cause a problem, you don't save up the deposit, you don't get on the property ladder, which is hard anyway, so I'm going to put that to one side. But you you spend, you use buy now, pay later, you get consumer debt, you got student loans, and then in your 30s you want to try and build wealth, but you've got all this debt, so you actually double behind.
Like
so
your salary increases, but all your like liabilities do as well. So you don't actually feel the benefit of in your 30s when you're progressing up the career ladder. Or you don't have to, but that's generally what happens. You're not feeling the benefit. You're just like, oh, I'm paying off my debt that I accumulated in my 20s.
So I want to ask the 20s is years olds. I know you're not 20, but you're in your 20s, guys.
Just
Holding on.
I think it's mainly about habits. It's not like you say, like it could literally be £50. It's about building the habits so that when you do have that like higher income, it's like, okay, this is what I naturally do, just time to up it, not time to completely learn a new skill.
Yeah.
When you're like 30.
Yeah.
Because you'll probably just never get there.
It's so funny because we caught Lucy so early. Like, we caught you
lucky.
so early. You're like, our project is that of Wicked. You're going to be my brand new project.
We are Glinda.
Alphaba. Yeah, we caught you so early.
Yeah.
So you're a bit of a weird one.
Do you remember when you brought a dilemma, or you might have been on the dilemma or off it, so I'm sharing it anyway, and you were like, I have too much money. Like, I don't know what to do next. Like, I don't know what my next financial goal is because
I'm all right.
Yeah,
I'm good.
It was like, we're not ready to buy a house.
Yes.
This was it, yeah.
Financially and mentally.
Yeah, we're good.
And we were like, we agree.
Yeah.
But it's like, where do I keep things for options? And it's so confusing. But
that's rare.
Yeah.
For someone your age. So it's when I hear, it was only the other day someone said, oh my God, I think it was a dilemma that was written in and it might come out in the next couple of weeks. But the woman was like, I've made my daughters listen to it. Like I send it to my daughters that are in their teens and in their 20s to like learn this now.
Yeah.
And then you're not doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I just think that's so, it's definitely not sucking the fun out of it. It's like, it's actually really fun.
Do both.
Yeah,
it is really fun. It's really fun.
The dopamine hit. I think it's the excess thing is like the most impactful for me. And it's like every month I've got to hit that.
What am I going to do with it?
Otherwise, and then I'm like, I don't even have any plans for that money because I don't want to buy a house.
Yeah.
And I've got holiday sinking funds. So
well, that's when you invest. So that's where you lean into that.
And you can be high risk, if you want to be because you've got age behind you.
And like, we can be the old people here and we've had our old people in our life tell us this, that time flies and you will be that age before you know it. And actually you don't always earn more in your 30s. I've earned less than I did in my early 30s because of a career change. And
you're probably more financially well.
100%.
Now.
But just like, it's the Mel Robbins, like no one's coming. There's not going to be for most of us, like a lottery win or a big
Everyone
bunch of
thinks
cash.
a big
I'll do it later.
Yeah.
You could be that own payday.
The other day in our family group, I think it was when the weather was really bad. And I said something like, oh, but don't worry, when we're all rich and like a lottery win. I started to write it.
We'll live in the sunshine.
And I deleted it because I was like, Holly, you could go and do that. Like, you don't have to wait. Like, if I want to go and live in a different country, like, we have got stuff in place whereby we could sell our home.
Yeah, you've just chosen not to. So but it's not this, like, pipe dream.
I stopped writing stuff like that because it really irks me because I was sounding like, oh, when I've got my shit together. Like, no, I have actually got my money shit together. If we wanted to make a decision to go and live in a hot country, we can do that. Like, stop saying when I'm rich. And that's what I wrote. And I thought, oh, I'll just give myself the ick. Just give myself the ick.
And you just
when we all win the lottery.
Hundreds of thousands of people.
I hate that because so many people live their life like, oh, when I, if I. No, like we are all very much in control. Especially if you're in the Financielle community and you're doing all the methodology and tracking your excess and tracking your net worth and all those kind of things, like a lot is possible. You can stop this chat.
It's like on the health journey, like we're the youngest we'll ever be today. We're the youngest we'll ever be.
I love being in our friendship group because we're the youngest.
We are the youngest.
I particularly am the youngest. So our friends are 10 years. I am. Our friends are 10 years older. So when people like are generalising, I'm like, whoa. I'm 35. Everyone's
But
like,
they all look that young that they look the same age as us.
I know.
But it is the youngest you'll ever be today. So like, you know, not liking yourself on a photo or not getting a bikini on because of how you feel. It's very, very similar. It's, when I've lost weight, actually
I'll be happy when.
You don't know when or if that ever will happen. Imagine if, we're the fittest we're ever going to be. And I don't want to put down on it. It's more that just do it now because that'll come really quickly, really, really quickly. And you can set yourself up to be in the best possible position. So like, don't be super frugal in your 20s and do nothing. Like this is your time to spend some time working in a place or trying a new job or going back home for a bit if you want to save some money. Like do the things. You don't need a lot. Use that calculator. You don't need a lot. And for anyone to say don't do it now, do it in your 30s is mathematically incorrect, firstly.
Yeah.
But also morally, because like you said, you could be diverting someone down a path that puts them further behind. And then like the majority of our wonderful millennials, because we're millennials, so we're in there with you, come to us and going, fuck's sake, I've had debt since I was 16.
I do feel sorry for millennials. Everyone always feels sorry for Gen Zs. And I'm like, no, they've got more information at hand than they've ever had before.
Yeah.
And like,
we were promised the world.
Yeah.
And we've got it. But
we were shown the hills. That was what life we were all going to live.
When she didn't go to Paris, she should have gone to Paris.
Should have gone to Paris. She should have.
I love that.
This Jason off because he's a waster.
Whitney went to Paris. This is like
who? I've not seen the hills. The only thing I know of the hills.
You would love the hills.
You would love it. You would love it. Lauren should have gone to Paris.
The only thing I know of the hills is Stephanie Pratt moving to Made in Chelsea.
Yeah. She segued.
She did. That
Across
was
the pond.
Didn't have that on my bingo card.
Did she go out with Spencer?
Yeah.
Jesus. Now he's with Vogue. Who I love.
For a minute, I thought you meant, no, that's her brother. Spencer Pratt.
Oh, yeah.
I was very confused. No. She was brother and sister.
Was it a tedious link?
Yeah. Tenuous, not tedious.
Oh. I think
a bit of both, maybe.
For Calvin, it might be feeling pretty tedious right now.
Okay, time for our first dilemma. Should I give up on my early retirement dreams? Hi, Financielle. It took me 20 years to get a decent job, a middle-class income, and an 18-year mortgage. I have no debt and a 6-month emergency fund sitting in a flexible savings account with a high interest rate. I also took my employer's pension offer, which, as Financielle says, already makes me an investor. Recently, I started paying £200 a month into a low-cost index fund, which feels like a good start. I follow the 50-30-20 rule and focus on intentional spending. Hope you listened to last week's podcast.
Sorry.
My ultimate goal is to overpay my mortgage and retire 7 years early. I'm 50 now, so retiring at 60 feels like a dream worth working for. However, I feel like my bubble is about to burst. My employer has just announced redundancies and I'm terrified I'll be out the door. With career gaps and the likelihood of finding jobs that offer less pay, I've crunched the numbers. If I lose this job, I'm out of the game and won't be able to retire early. My dilemma is, should I live a frugal life and work less? Or should I stick to the 9-to-5 routine but spend my money and enjoy life? After all, I won't reach my goals anyway. I hate that last sentence.
I do,
I feel like crying.
Because at the beginning of the dilemma, I don't know about you, I was
going,
tick. Tick, yeah. Tick. Like I want ding, 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 because it was, I've not got any debt. I've got an emergency fund. Mm-hmm. It's going at X%.
Yeah.
I've got this plan. I've got an 18-year mortgage. And then, I don't know, like maybe that, the pessimism, or maybe that helps keep you on track as well a little bit when they're like, oh, like I've done all the numbers and clearly just a math person. Like this is the plan.
Yeah. Very black and white. Is what I would say at the end, the second half of your dilemma. Is like, you've written yourself off.
Life.
Yeah.
Boom. And then glass half empty, which lots of us have, but it's a glass half empty, which is, if redundancy happens, which is so real for lots and lots of people, it's game over rather than, there might be a job.
There might be a little blip in the road.
Yeah. There might be a job with a higher pay.
I know.
Yeah.
Like we've gone, and there's lots of us do that humans, we automatically go to worst case scenario rather than best case. And so it's really hard because what is the dilemma asking us to give up on the dream, like to not retire early? Like we can't.
First of all, you don't know if redundancy is going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Secondly, you don't know. You might go and find another higher paid
then,
job.
But you could retire earlier.
Literally.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of just saying, I'm not going to get a higher paid job or even a job similar pay.
Yeah.
It's going to be less pay.
Yeah.
The other really interesting thing I find is this concept of retirement, because 65 now is so young.
Mm-hmm.
If you can prioritise your health, prioritise your well-being, live a nice life and have a low stress job, which is like game changing.
Yeah.
What would you do anyway? Because there could be a halfway home, which is if you do have a reduced income, you might get to 65 and 60 and be like, I'm not quite there, but I'm really happy. I might reduce some hours now. I might, change my role. I might do this, that, and the other, but I don't have to be like, right, I've ticked it, because it's like, unless you've got, and they might have a super big plan for what they're going to do.
I truly don't ever appreciate the daunting, what's the word, like how daunting it must be to approach retirement age.
Yeah.
And I don't think we as like a society help people through that enough.
No.
Especially like financially, years ago when my nan retired, like that was so standard to just finish work and kind of like walk away. Whereas everything's more expensive now. So people can't, I would say, just walk away.
No, you can't.
At retirement
People don't have
age.
paid off mortgages.
No.
They carry debt. Cost of living is high. So it's not like finally I don't have to work anymore. It's no,
because I'll be looked after by the government, and that pension that I've been building by paying national insurance for all the years that I've worked is going to look after me. It's not like that anymore.
No.
It's much more terrifying to know what the costs and childcare costs, and if you've ever accumulated any money to grow to give to your family, is that going to be taken for your care? Like, it's just,
there's a load of stuff that's not supported.
Graduated.
Retired?
Retired maybe like 10 years ago when things were obviously the last few years of prices of everything has increased so much.
Had to go back to work.
Had to go back to
I
work
would say
because
so.
Yeah. Well,
it's just not.
And there's a lot of things like that. And I think
I would
that's
say
part of
so.
this, which is the unknown. So people separate and suddenly have to fund
true.
like kind of retirement without. There's so many divorces now in the with men and women in the 50s divorcing.
Because it wasn't a done thing,
it was what you were allowed. I mean, I kind of support it. I like that people are like embracing this like second part of life and saying, I'm not sticking in a relationship. I don't
I'm not
want to be
going to
with.
stay.
But you've got to fund like a life on your own. But also nowadays though, the jobs are much more flexible. So people can work from home, can do flexible hours, can pick up shifts here and there that can kind of bolster and give you something to do as well. So they're being, I don't know, is it she or he? I'm saying he then suddenly. I don't know why I said that. She's being very black and white correct. And I think like it feels like that's her logical brain coming in.
For a little bit.
But there's so many. And it's so like when you're building in any kind of forecasts, it's also looking at assumptions. And so we've talked about this before, like she obviously likes planning. So plan some different scenarios. Plan a scenario with your income going higher. Plan a scenario with income going lower. And build that in, because like I said, 60 is still so young. So if you were to fully retire at 60, that might not be the right decision for you, even if you could financially do it. But I mean, we've got a goal setting unlocked episode that you can go back and look at. And it might be a really good one for you to do actually, because at 50, looking at what the next 20 to 30 years look like is a really good, and it's in there, it's hidden at the end of the episode. So you have to hang in there and do the full episode. But we've got a really good tip that helps you think about what your goal should be, and it leans into what life should be like. If you put life first and picture that and kind of work your way backwards, it'll help you focus. And part of that might be, actually, I've always really wanted to be a mountain ranger. So my plan is to retire to a lovely cottage in Wales, and I will work and it'll keep me active and it'll keep me in a friendship group and a social group, and it'll earn me this.
So it's not always a monetary goal. Like Laura said, it's like, what is the life that I want to live? And then working backwards from that. What money do I need to fund that? And it might be like, not very much at all.
Yeah.
You've got I need 50 grand in this and I need 20 grand in this and then I'll be okay. It's like, no, what do you actually want to do? Like, I want to volunteer at this.
And there was this black and white, wasn't there, which was, do I enjoy going out for eating and holidays, or do I be extra frugal knowing that I might be behind on my goal? And it's like, I want a blended.
Yeah.
I do not want to be not going out for dinner. Because you're doing so well, this isn't you saying I'm 50, I've got loads of debt, I don't own my own home.
I'm starting from the beginning.
And we've helped loads of people like that. And that is a different kettle of fish.
They've also got a 6 month emergency fund. That is exactly what this, like a redundancy
what
is
it's for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Give
They've
yourself
done the work.
6 months.
Yeah.
You'll find a job in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually,
I think that's the case when people have got that emergency fund. They're like, oh, I'm going to need, and they're like, find a job next week.
That's why.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
They also don't want to use it. And look, to her point, what she won't do is, like, when you've got a salary, she's investing some of that, but what she won't do is an invest her emergency fund. So she's kind of saying, I'll miss out on that. And I love that. I love that. But
you are like a star student.
you'll find your way, definitely. But you don't know that you can't retire early. So that's the answer to the question. You don't know that. Build some different assumptions, which is, like I said, listen to that episode that talks about set some different goals and look at different variations of it, because likely none of them will happen. It'll be like a combination
model
of
it
them.
all out, and you might fall between one and the other.
And
But can you tell how relaxed we are about this dilemma? Like, not to
demean it a little bit.
Because I know that I get the sense
deal.
that you're extremely worried, but that you have foundations in place that I would say 90% of people don't have. Like, take some comfort in that. Like, you are doing really well, and you're not just going to let life come at you. I get the impression you have set things in motion that for when this thing happens, like Lou said, that emergency fund you've built up, because there was always a risk that you were going to be made redundant or fall ill or whatever,
Yeah, and like
You've done the work, like, already.
A couple of extra tiny things is if retiring early is really important to you, like if you're like, I'm done at 60, I really want that, you can change your home and you can change some of your lifestyle as well. So it sounds like you're pretty frugal, but you can adjust, because all being financially independent is basically, do you have enough money to sustain your needs? And so you may or may not have options there, but you can change that number as well. You've got a few different forecasts you can play around with and different assumptions.
I like
this.
Community win time. After saying I was going to keep Monzo Flex for cash flow purposes, I ended up racking £300 of debt on there from holiday overspending, gifts and pointless shopping.
Yes, sorry, I'm interrupting this to be like, she's right, and this is what we say. You are so human and you are so normal, and this is what happens. People say, I'm just going to keep it in case, and it's never just in case, it's always for real, normal human things. And so you're not in financial jail for doing it, but I told you so.
I hate to say I told you so, but I did.
However, she did a bank switch to get £200, which I paid it off, and with some of my excess, I have now officially closed it.
Bye-bye. Bugger off, Monzo.
It's like a dipping your toe in, and it's actually boiling water.
You got burned.
Look at that, and
but you're fine.
And your bank switch was you get out of jail. So everyone, make sure you look in the app, get the.
Talk about bank switches.
Oh, Lucy,
have you completed your bank switch?
First ever one in 3 years?
Yeah. Literally.
Did you get the free cinema tickets hack that
I went
told
to go
you
watch
about?
Wicked. I will be going to watch Bridget Jones's Diary.
Yes. What else?
Unsure on the 3rd.
Moana?
You can get half-price popcorn as well. I didn't get it because popcorn gets stuck in your teeth.
Oh, got real teeth
We've got
issues.
teeth issues at the
How
moment,
do you
haven't we?
claim this? Sorry,
It's
for
on the
listeners.
voucher.
Shut up.
Oh, Holly.
Literally,
I bought
2
popcorn
QR codes on the voucher.
Played full price popcorn.
We bought a large popcorn. I was like, we don't need a large. Neil's like, we do need a large. He freaking ate over 75% of it. And we bought
And then you had to sit there next to
we
him,
bought the
listening
kids-
to him eat it.
things as well. Of which, by the way, just to digress a tiny bit, Cineworld have got a really good kids meal deal.
Yeah, it's
where
great
you
that they're
get-
closing it in Lee.
I know. Oh no, I got to the Warrington one.
I went to View. Maybe they don't do the
It's
popcorn.
Odeon there.
Oh.
I got different vouchers.
Cineworld, I lied.
You meant Odeon?
No, I meant Cineworld.
Cineworld at Lee.
No, there's one in Warrington as well.
Oh.
But it might be View. I'll have a look at that. Anyway,
You didn't get half price popcorn.
there was a really good switch. Look what other deals you get with it. So
Yes.
Lucy and I got free 6 cinema tickets each. My husband and I both did the switch. That's £400 into our family
12
fund.
tickets.
And 12 cinema tickets. And now Lucy's telling me it's half price popcorn. So I'm going to go and check that after this episode.
It's still probably like £9, isn't it?
Yeah. So I feel like I've well and truly hacked the system.
And for how much work?
Oh,
Nothing.
Neil did loads of direct debit stuff, but I didn't. No, it was very easy.
To be fair, it was a lot of work for me because I did it wrong at first.
This is not the first time she's done it.
This is not
wrong.
her first rodeo. She's very good at messing up
did
bank
it wrong the
transfers.
first time of this switch as well.
Oh,
Bank switches.
Jesus.
And then I had to do it again.
Read the small print. Is
Yeah.
all I will say. Take your time, plan it out
Yes.
properly, but it genuinely is worth it. £400 went to our
Yeah.
emergency fund.
And I also swapped my bank account, which had my like graduate overdraft on. I didn't use it, but I was petrified of it for some reason.
Just in case it would accidentally run up.
It would activate it.
There you go.
So now I've got.
And you
absolutely
use
none.
the hack. I think I mentioned it to you before, or maybe you found it yourself, but that you can. There's websites where you can set up small direct debits.
That's what I did.
.co.uk and
Yeah.
it's just like a
£1.
quid and it's
Yeah.
not because I've done charities before, which listen, I'm all about giving to charity, but I already give to charity and to get out of them is really hard.
Give blood.
And you need to be able to do it to be able to switch them around and
Yes.
stuff. So
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah,
The
I
direct debit website. I'm just thrilled.
Tiny direct debit.
It's free money, and I'm not that hacky. I'm
Yeah.
not a hacky person. I'm a lazy person.
Yeah.
I
400
don't
quid.
I don't put in the hard
Where have you
work
put it?
for the hacks. It went into an emergency fund because we had to use it for something. It topped back up again.
And then what did you
Also emergency fund.
yours is too high. You're all right.
No, it's not.
Oh,
It's
she's-
my teeth.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
How much do you, let's share, because actually this is apt. A lot of people were asking about a particular sinking fund, and it was dentist sinking fund, because a lot of people forget that because it
And
only
then-
comes around once every 6 months.
Yeah.
And you generally 90% of the way get away with just the fee.
And then suddenly
But
you need
suddenly
treatment.
there's an emergency
Yeah.
treatment. Do you want to?
I put like £40 a month for my dentist fund.
Okay.
And that covers like maybe 2 fillings a year.
Okay.
However, I had to go full emergency fund because I didn't want to disrupt my dentist sinking fund. Because what if I just need a regular
She didn't
filling?
want to use the
However,
dentist sinking fund
instead
for
of my-
dentist. You need the dentist one. You need a dentist emergency fund. Tell me you're a financial nerd. She's like, I can't use it because I might need it. No, you need it now. Like it's literally for the dentist.
Because that would have fully just rinsed my dentist.
I get what you mean.
emergency
For
fund. And
the
I still need to pay like what if I need a regular filling?
I'm here for it. I love it.
Okay. Yeah, go on. So it ate massively into your
Yeah.
emergency fund.
Half of my
Wow.
emergency fund has been spent on one tooth, which I specifically asked, can you just take it out? And she said, no.
It's like, cut my arm off. I just don't want it anymore. It's got to
Get rid of it.
take it off. But
I love that you're bleeding with it to take it out.
but that you get to a point where when you've been so proud of your emergency fund and you have to use it,
So
you are
annoying.
angry.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
make it bigger now.
Yeah, but now you've
I'm back with a vengeance.
But this is where, like, to be able to find 200 quid, pop into it isn't easy. And a bank switch is quite easy. And so if you're unsure about it, go to the community, ask our prevalent or like repeat bank switches.
Yeah.
And there's like lots of people that know the stuff.
And
Got the-
Sarah helps, a community member helps us write our
Sarah
money
Hodgson's
deal
a
blog.
legend. She writes it with us.
You never give her credit for that, Sarah.
She's the queen that writes
She
the
is.
blog. We
We
don't
owe
do
you
it. Like she's better.
800
she's better at finding the deals than we are.
That's what I said. I'm lazy. Like even
Yeah,
if it's
yeah.
my job, like Sarah does it much better than any of us.
I love
But
reading
she
through it.
finds the bank switching deals and it drops into the community. The blog area of like the first week every month. Go and check it out.
Go and do it.
There'll be good
And
ones
in this
in there.
scenario, someone's been able to clear Monzo Flex. Like,
Yep.
gone, done. Like, that's just...
I forgot what we were talking about.
Oh,
Well
yeah.
done. But can we just talk about me and Lucy for a minute and our hacks? Because we're really proud of ourselves. Because Lucy has
gonna write on my
failed
notes,
bank
bank
switches,
switch.
I think, 3 times. Because she didn't read the fine print about direct debit.
I've got-
sure one time I read it and it changed.
It probably did though. So you
I've got
have
a
to be
little
on it.
list. I've got banks. I've already got bank interest rates, which is on my list to just still not doing it from last week.
I'm
bank
going to do a
interest rates.
fixed one, like you said this week.
That's because you want
I want
you
the
want the
little bonus.
you want the
Oh, the
bonus to
bonus.
come, but you
I
want
like the
the
sound of
restriction of I can't get access to it.
Yes.
Like
So weirdly,
Bank
we
interest
did
rates,
lock
bank
ours
switch.
away. And we needed it.
you did an
And
extension.
We messaged Starling and we were like, oh, we didn't think we needed
Yeah.
it and we've locked it away and we need it. And they didn't come back to us within a certain amount of time. So the financial ombudsman made them pay us £80. I was like, woo!
This is not a
so
hack.
good.
No, it's
Don't
not.
try it.
No, this is not a hack. Like if you think,
And then you didn't need it. You didn't use it.
no.
You actually found the money.
So
like
it was truly a hack.
because then you're gonna get your bonus.
Yeah. So
I love how they paid the penalty but still didn't give you your money.
no, they were like, really sorry about that. Can't give you the no. Really sorry, we didn't come back to you and give you an answer.
You got 80
I think
quid because
we
they
got
just
80
ignored you. And then
they were on
and then
holiday.
your 250 is going to drop because mine did last
So we
month.
made like 300 odd quid.
Follow me. For
I'm
more
still
finance
angry at you,
tips.
Stalin, though, for taking away the interest on the spaces. So we have to talk about that another day.
If you'd like to send us your win, head to the community in the app
Well
or
done.
email it to thevault@financielle.com.
We're very proud.
Yeah. Well done.
Okay, second dilemma. I earn 180k, but I feel guilty for spending. I'm 29 and I earn around 180k, and I've
Wow.
saved around 150k.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, can
Wow.
take a moment for
Yeah.
the high earner in our community. That's like, wow.
So I've saved £150,000 over the last few years from commission checks. I'm consumer debt free and I have a mortgage in London with around 72% LTV. What's LTV?
It's loan to value. So I'm presuming she means that she's got like 30% equity. So
Okay.
her of the home, 70% of its mortgage.
I save 10% of my basic salary and about 50% of my commission. I contribute 10% to a pension and invest every month. It sounds ridiculous and I totally acknowledge my privilege, but my dilemma is this. How do I draw the line on spending when I don't have a compelling reason to, like becoming debt-free? Where is the line? I'm constantly torn between enjoying life, seeing shows in London, travelling abroad, buying clothes because I can afford it, and being way more aggressive with savings and more frugal. I've always done a budget ever since I was 17, wow. But when I see shows or a pair of shoes I haven't budgeted for, I just think, screw it. I'll put it on the credit card, pay it off next month and not go into debt. Or I'll take it out of my 5k emergency fund and top it back up later. How do I know when I'm on a slippery slope of being too lavish, even when there's no negative financial consequence? Why shouldn't I enjoy the things in life that I love if I have the money? I've never come close to being in debt, but I do feel guilty every time I splash the cash. I can't help but think there's always a better financial decision to be made. Any advice? Welcome.
Oh, that's a fascinating dilemma.
It is, right.
Yeah.
For everyone listening at home, I want you to take this minute. We're going to help someone out that's not like lots of us. And so it's really, I think it's hard not to judge and or not to think or then not to go, oh, you loads of money, it doesn't matter why you're even worried about it, because it's all important.
It's
We've
how
all
you
got
feel.
it's how you feel. And this person's situation is not like most of us. So I want you to try and imagine earning that, but living in London.
I'm already there.
You're already there.
Yeah.
You're enjoying the
I'm
shows.
living-
I'm on Made in Chelsea.
Yes, yeah. And listen, there's part of me that's like, you can spend that quite quickly. 180
Yeah.
grand after tax. And this is
London.
not the violin. I'm not like kind
No,
of
no.
feel sorry for them, but it goes and not on the things that you think like it. So just be aware of that, especially if they live in a load, if they're contributing that completely on their own. So try and let's level up the earnings that we've got and let's pretend we're that person, right? I think, so she's struggling with guilt. She's not struggling with money at the moment. She's struggling with spending and guilt, but it feels like her budget's not right.
I was just about to say her budget.
budget's
She's saying
not
she's
right.
budgeting, but she's not because
No.
she's dipping into her emergency savings.
It's too tough. It's
Or
too
putting it
tight.
on credit
Or
card
put it on
and
credit
paying off.
card. I'm like, no. You might
Which
be
starts
budgeting,
guilt.
but it's not. You're not doing it right.
She's not doing it right. It's because the wonderful thing about the budget, whether it's on a lower income or a higher income, is if you've got the excess bit right, you can have lots of things. Once you kind of got out of emergency and survive and you're not in a stressful place, you can spend today, you can spend in the future on your holidays and stuff, and you can make good financial decisions like overpaying your mortgage and invest. And what that's good for is at any point, and she's like good emergency fund, like 150 grand is amazing. She could lose that job. You know, she might get poorly. She might become a mother. Lots of things can set her back. So she's just at this pinch point where she's doing really, really well, but the rug could be pulled under her. And she's budgeted before, so she'll be able to do that. But for now, she's not. She's kind of got the budget of maybe like a 50 grand salary or something. Do you know what I mean? She's probably got not a lavish enough clothing budget, not a lavish enough eating out or theatre. And she likes to do that
Yeah,
stuff.
that's her passion.
You
That's her
can
joy.
build a budget with a donut that has spending there and investing. And if you like, she's already at 10%, you know, maybe
would
that
be
could be a
upping
bit
that.
higher, like 50,
Yeah.
15-ish percent or
The minute I
something.
heard that, I was like, I would be upping that more.
But can she? Because it sounds like she's saving a lot, but she obviously overspends. She needs to get to a point where she's tweaking, where I would test her to say, can you have spending money left over and still spend?
Yeah.
So like, it's too tight.
She's not being realistic, obviously. She's not being honest with herself about how much she spends because she's having to. She's giving
Yeah.
herself. She's allocating, but she's not looking at the previous month and going, "What did I actually spend?" She's putting a figure in, and we've all done it.
That
You're
feels
wishing
right.
that you spend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish
That's so true.
I spent £200 on groceries a month. I don't. I've got a family of 4. It's unrealistic, and prices go up. I need to look
And
at the
you
month
like nice
before and
sticks.
see how much I spent on my food budget. That's the realistic food budget. Could I try and squeeze it a little bit? Probably. But I have 4 mouths to feed. in a country where the food is particularly expensive. So let's be realistic.
We did this with them, with beauty, because I had not, all I did with the hair and beauty sinking fund really was put hair in it for the family. And the girls weren't having theirs done that often really. And Carl's was nice and cheap because it's a guy's haircut. And mine was every other month it'd be a cut and it would be colour every other month and stuff. And I really started to want to look after my skin better. And then I was also realising that I'd not put anything for makeup anywhere. I would have to dip into grocery for makeup.
We've all been there.
Like I'm not even buying it. Like my mum loves buying makeup. So I'm like, I need a foundation, can I have one? And she'll buy it and then I'll send her the money. And so I was basically lying to myself about how much we as a family, and my husband and I share skincare, we were actually spending on it. So we recently readjusted the budget. And like, I'm not going to share, but it feels high.
Yeah, you're like, ugh.
But it's what I'm spending. Yeah. And as a proportion of the budget, it's not crazy. But in my head, it was you're on a debt-free journey, like the old Laura of like you're saving, you're trying to invest, you're saving for a home, you're on maternity leave.
Yeah, you don't want someone to look over your shoulder and look at your budget and be like, what's that? You know,
because to someone else, to a previous you, it might be obscene.
Yeah.
And to someone else, it might be obscene. But again, as a proportion of the budget, if it works, so like you said, there's no point lying to yourself.
Have you got your emergency fund in place? Do you invest? Have you got a pension? Blah, blah, blah. Yes. Okay, so what else are you going to spend? Like,
and what would be interesting is some of her spending, it sounds like she wants to, like, I like going to the theatre, so I'm going to go to it. Sometimes is she spending because it's a bit naughty? What we've seen in all this is when people budget a little higher, they don't always use it.
You don't spend it.
Yeah.
It's a psychology thing.
It's like it's
permission.
A reverse dopamine hit where you're like, oh. It's when you get
reverse psychology, definitely.
You always say it on payday. You go into Zara, you can't find anything. In the middle of the month, when you might not have much money left in the old days,
there's loads of things.
There's loads. You want to buy everything. It's all psychological. All psychological. You got birthday money in your hands, Lucy. How many times have you been given birthday money and not been able to spend it?
Every time.
I paid my birthday money into like the cash.
Yeah.
Like last week.
Yeah.
From May.
Yeah. Lucy is the perfect example of it because it's been given to you. You got permission to spend it. Yeah. It is so difficult to spend it. Whereas if it feels naughty and it's like, go on, I'll just get it.
I'll put it on the card.
It's a dopamine hit. It's not the thing. So one thing I would say is really question the things that you're spending money on. If you love the theatre, if you love this, that and the other.
Put it in the budget.
Put it in the budget. Yeah. How many shows do you watch a month? 3. Put it in the budget and enjoy it.
And when, because her mentality, like she says, like, I know I can afford it. I can just pay the card off next month. That's a really dangerous mentality to get in because if you can afford it, it goes in the budget.
If you can afford it, why are you putting it on a credit card?
Yeah, it's because she's not putting it in the budget.
Mic drop.
This episode is over. No, but I like the let's empathise with this person because it's just maths.
Oh, for a lot of us, like hearing those salaries, you'd be like, are you kidding me? Why are you even struggling?
After a few years, we'd all be in the same position.
Yeah.
As a financial person, we'd all be like questioning where should I put. Many people would never sit and question what they spend the money on those salaries. They'd just happily just try and make it to the end of every month, and the expenses go up, the car gets better, the house gets bigger, the holidays get more extravagant, and then all of a sudden the job goes and the rug's pulled under and then it all goes to shit.
I think I would like to see a healthy challenge from us is you doing okay, great emergency fund.
Please stop paying into that more.
Unless there's something else in your life, please stop that one.
That one a day. Don't be a Lucy.
£150, 50,000 in savings, but then she says
she dips into that
£5,000 emergency fund. Also, I feel you need a bigger emergency fund. Like,
I think she's calling them different things. Like the 150 is definitely an emergency fund, but she also might feel better if she's actively overpaying that mortgage and if she's actively investing more than 10%. Yeah. So what would be good is when you've got goals like that, it does bring down your excessive spending a little bit because she's going to something. She's just drifting.
There's
she's
no
like,
job. She's not. We always say
your
money needs a job. So I would be like, okay, how much emergency fund do I actually need? Pull that down to what it needs to be. How much do I want to put into you might be able to put a lump sum into paying off the mortgage.
You do use 10% a year and stuff. But play around with that. Have a look at your investments and increasing that and changing it each budget. Yeah, giving them jobs diverts the money from overspending if you think you are overspending. The flip side is if you like that spending and it fits into your budget, into your income, put it in the budget.
You might not be overspending, you're just not budgeting properly. And if you're a budgeter, it sounds like you have been. I feel like we just need to play around with it a little bit.
Go for dinner and a show
I do. Can we all go out together? Well, no, I want to go out and look at do a budget with her.
in her house.
in her house after she's taken us out to the
I've
theatre.
pictured her in a penthouse
Yeah, me
apartment
too.
in London.
Drop us a DM.
Battersea Power Station.
Drops a DM. Oh, let me drop your location.
Or a location
Send us
pin. I'm
postcode.
not.
Yeah, she's in the pool
Precious.
at Battersea Power Station with Harry
Yeah.
Styles. Like, this is what I
Yeah.
pictured.
You can see him in his swimming pool. Okay, any final words?
I still like the non-judgmental, like, let's all have empathy for
Yeah.
this person that's not bragging about how much money they've got. They're like, oh, I'm struggling because money is difficult, hard to manage, whether you get £1,800 a month or you get 18,000
Yeah,
a month.
no, it is.
Like, it's maths.
But I would love to know what she does for a job between that and commissions, like it's obviously
Yeah.
sales based, because I'd
Fab.
love to inspire, like if we
Girl
could
power.
find out what she
Yeah.
does, I'd love to inspire those people that may want to earn that one day. Like, she's doing amazing.
That's all for this episode. The Vault is now closed. And just a quick disclaimer, The Vault is just a chat around life and money topics. We are not giving financial advice.